Good evening, everyone. We are back this week with the biggest win we've had since we've done this podcast. The Arkansas Razorbacks upset the number 4 ranked team in the nation, Tennessee, at home this past Saturday. How are you feeling?
Yeah, dude, that's our biggest win since 2007. Friggin' crazy. Um, I still don't believe it. This weekend was my wife's birthday party. My best friend opened a bar downtown, and we had a couple of our best friends visiting from Cincinnati. And I still have to say the highlight of my weekend was Tennessee going down at the hands of Arkansas.
And it's the way we did it with Taylor Green out, everything against us, our kicker out, which I think some people are thankful for, but everything against us, odds looking. And the first half is the frustrating part because we dominated
Yeah,
and we're up 3-0.
yeah. No, those, I mean, those first couple drives, um, first first drive, 16 plays, 74 yards. I mean, we're looking good. We held the ball for, let me look at this. Is it 9 minutes? We had the ball for 9 minutes, which let's talk about that as like part of the game script. Like, I think that was pivotal to us getting the win because we saw in the second half when Tennessee has the ball, they can score freaking fast.
Oh,
And when
yes.
they get in rhythm, like they can score freaking fast. Like in the second half, literally Tennessee, their first drive, 7 plays, 75 yards. So they went the full length of a normal, like touchback field, 2 minutes and 27 seconds. We get the ball back, we punt it, give it back to him. 7 plays again, 60 yards, 2 minutes and 9 seconds. So these guys they move it, right? Like they move the ball. They were the number one offense in the nation coming in on yardage. So I thought that it was brilliant on Petrino and Pittman's part to say, like, we're gonna take our time after every snap. We're gonna let the clock go down, and if you watch, between every play, it's like 14:50. Then the next play was snapped 40 seconds later. And the next play was literally snapped 40 seconds later. The next play was literally snapped 34 seconds later. The next play was snapped after that 41 seconds later. The next play after, right? So it's like we're just saying, hey, walk back to the line, let the clock go down, do your reads, call your audibles, call your check downs. And that just keeps Tennessee's offense cold. It keeps them off the field. It keeps them, kind of just, like, when you play sports, it's kind of like you just kind of get bored, you lose focus, you're just like waiting your turn. So when you come out, you're not as up, you're not as hyped. And obviously, coming out of the second half, right, they get the ball first and they're up and they're hyped and they're amped. And so they can just go and score. And then they get the ball back and they go and score. But when they're sitting for a while, it's again brilliant. I thought it was a brilliant strategy. I loved it. I love seeing it. It's a bummer that first possession ended in a field goal. But we took the clock and that was nice.
Yeah, I think we definitely have to do more of that. I think ball control, like you said, was very key in us getting the win. And I think we should do more of it. I think it kept our guys more refreshed as well. Let Taylor kind of settle more. Like, because
Hmm.
his throws did look better this game. I will say Taylor looked more comfortable, more settled in, and he was a little bit more accurate this game as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He had a little bit more time to throw. We didn't see him running, against A&M, literally, I mean, like of his 30 passes or however many it was, I mean, like 20 of them were him rolling, bootlegging out to the side, running for his life. This time, he made a lot of the passes from the pocket. He stepped forward when he needed to. He made a lot of really good decisions on RPOs. Um,
That's
I
going to
would
be
say
key.
like 80% of his choices on when to hand it, when to keep it were the right choice.
Mm.
He did really well. I felt like he was trusting his running backs a little bit more. Um,
I feel like he trusted himself more just to run it instead of, let me scramble around and try and find someone, just take off and go get 4 to 6 yards.
right.
He has that
Yeah.
capability. So
Yeah. Yeah. Defense, dude.
Defense was phenomenal. I mean,
Our defense is
how can you
legit,
not
man.
say that?
Our defense is legit. They have now pitched two uh first half shutouts against top 20 teams, top 15 teams. Oklahoma State, the only score was off of a pick six. And
Mhm.
then here against Tennessee, 0 points in the first half. I mean, like, dude, our D is really good. Like, to
Yeah, and
do
you
that against Tennessee, to only give up 14, 2 touchdowns against the number one offense, like that is baller. Against A&M, we only gave up 21. Uh, Auburn held them to 14. UAB was a rough game, held them to 27, against UAB that should be better than that. Oklahoma State, the second half got away from us and it went to overtime, double overtime. So obviously there's going to be some bonus points there. Pine Bluff, 0. So, like, I'm really proud of our defense. I mean, they're like disciplined, they're getting third down stops. I mean, check out this stat. I wish I had it already by half, but third down efficiency, Tennessee, 7 of 16. I mean, we held them below 40%. I mean, that's like, or below 50%. It's like
yeah,
40, 45%. Great. I mean, I'll take that. That's like great defense.
yeah. I mean, our defense has spoken for itself. I think every game. You pointed out how we were facing the number one ranked offense in the nation, not just the SEC, but the nation, and we held them to 0 and 14 for the whole game. And this is a team that dropped 60 on a top 20 team. NC State they dropped 62 on, and then Oklahoma I think they dropped 30 something. So it's
Hmm.
not like they faced scrubs like Ole Miss per se. But
Right.
yeah, our defense is phenomenal, and it's not like we get a lot of pressure. We've talked about it before on previous episodes. That's kind of been our struggles, and we're getting better. I will say we're definitely getting better, but our secondary is our strong point, and that linebacker play is excellent.
Hmm.
Steven Dix looks great. Sorey was awesome. Those guys
Yeah.
are flying around, getting to the ball. We're not missing tackles like we have in years past, and we're not getting burnt as much. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's happened, but years previously we've seen where our defense is just nowhere near anybody and they just get burnt.
Hmm.
They are flying around, getting to the ball, looking great every game, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, the secondary staying over the top, which
Yeah.
is great. I mean, in this game, Alonga Vogonomalaya, I can't say his name. I mean, he didn't have any like throws like just where he just like launching over the top or anything. Um, let's see what his longest pass on the day
The
even
only
was.
deep throw I can think of was the one at the end of the game, and that was double covered, and the guy just went up and made a play. We had
Yeah.
two guys right there, and he just went up and caught it, and that's gonna happen. That's the only one I can think of.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I was trying to see if I could see like the long, um, but
I
on
don't
the
I don't
secondary,
remember
yeah.
him completing a lot of long. He was kind of scrambling around all night and he just didn't look very comfortable, which
Yeah.
he's an unproven guy and we kind of showed that well, he's not quite there yet. And that's partly because of him, but that's really because of our defense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he had 17 completions for 158 yards. So he was averaging less than 9 yards a throw,
Yeah.
less than 10, like around 9. So yeah, not letting anything over the top. Um, we put some pressure on him. We definitely got to him a few times. It was really great. I liked from a scheming perspective. There was a few times where it looked like we were like blitzing the house. And what we did was like actually dropped back a defensive lineman into like short coverage and then like blitz like two linebackers on the other side, but drop back like two guys here. So it was like still only a 4-man rush. So we still had plenty of coverage in the secondary, but it was a really confusing look, and as the offensive linemen are like, okay, like which guys do we go to? Which we cover? And that ended up in one of our first half sacks that I think was like on a third down play. Yeah, I was just super, super proud of like Williams play calling, even, like defensive schemes and the
He
way
is
that
a
we,
defensive mastermind, dude. He
yeah,
is insane. He knows where to put guys, where it's just insane to see his. play calling, like you just said. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been fun. Again, I'm super proud of our defense. I hope they continue to hold up the way that they've been holding up. Keep getting better, like Landon Jackson, we still haven't even seen him at his best yet. He had a couple huge plays.
Two
Um,
really good weeks now, back-to-back weeks of him playing
Back-to-back
really
good
well.
weeks.
Yeah,
But he's still got room, right? Like we still
yeah,
haven't, I
for
don't think we've
sure.
seen his best game yet, and um
And that's a positive because, like you just said, he had 2 sacks, I think, this past week, and the week before he had, I think, 2 sacks as well. And like you just said, he hasn't even hit his like top game, which would
yeah,
be great for him to have LSU, Ole Miss, maybe even a Texas game, maybe see his
yeah.
best game, Texas. But he's getting there, and Cam Ball looks great. Eric Gregory's shown a lot. All
Mhm.
those interior linemen have done really good.
Yeah. Yeah, they have. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, okay, obviously from an offensive standpoint, um, it's kind of the same, Sam Pittman said it in the post game interview on ESPN where he was like, if we don't turn the ball over, we can play with anyone. And it's like, well, yeah, that definitely
True.
was why we lost, like for sure why we lost to Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Big reason why we lost to A&M. But we it's like we're still it's not like all clicking yet on offense, right? We'll have these great drives that sputter out, right? We had our first 3 drives of the game, right? The first one, we're marching, we're marching, we're marching. We end up getting stopped and go for a field goal. The next drive, we're marching, and then we get stopped on a fourth and short. Next drive, we're marching, we're marching. We get stopped on another fourth and short, like another turnover on downs. Like it's just like, oh, like
Yeah.
these yeah, like there's just like a missing like our run game is really great. I'm really proud of our like run offense. I feel like we're like still missing that like go-to play for Taylon Green to like get in rhythm, to get warmed up, right? Like normally maybe it would be like a short slant route, or maybe it would be like a pick route, or maybe it would be like a quick, like quick out, like something.
Yeah.
But it just feels like there's not just that like go to like, all right, here's an easy 6 yards. It's Luke Haas every time, or like,
Yeah.
because Armstrong's always playing on the outside. Like you never know who it's going to be up the middle. Broden is inconsistent. Tesla, it doesn't get open a ton. It's like I wish we could find that like one play that's like, yeah, we run this like 5 times a game, and it's always when like we need to just kind of get the confidence going, get the juices flowing for Taylon Green. It's an easy pass. It's like 80% completion rate. It's like what's that thing? Like if you look at like obviously it's hard to compare to like the Chiefs, but it's like when Rashee Rice was healthy and like they were struggling, it was like, okay, we're gonna do a Rashee Rice like right up the gut crossing with Travis Kelce. And like one of those guys is gonna for sure be open as soon as they cross the hash mark. And just like it's an 8-yard gain. Like, what's that play? And maybe if we develop something like that, then like we kind of get out of these funks that we get in.
Yeah.
Because
And
that second half funk, I mean, the start of the second half, that third quarter, that was a funk.
yeah, and something I noticed that might contribute to that is that we weren't getting a lot from the rushing game this game as much as we had in the past. So it'd be 2nd and 9, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, whatever. And so we're forcing ourselves to have 3rd and long almost every drive. And we were
Yeah.
converting. We're one of the best third down conversion teams, but that's tough to do consistently. So then you have a 3rd and 9 and you get a pretty good game, but then it's still 4th and 3. So
Yeah.
I think that we were getting ourselves behind the chains, and that kind of hurt us. But yeah, we
Yeah.
just got to finish off drives better, and we got to find a kicker, dude. If I had one complaint from this game, it's that our kicking game is rough, so bad.
It's bad. It's
I
really
like
bad.
like I don't know if you can continue to go to Ramsey. I don't know what Shipley did, or if he's just awful in practice, but Ramsey misses a kick a game. I've talked about it before. We've discussed it. He misses, and it's not close. Like he's not barely missing. He missed that 44 yarder by a lot.
Yeah.
He's not like you can't trust him at all.
Agreed. Yeah, it's rough. It's really rough. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't
That's
know
like
what you more
yeah,
about that.
that's like our only downfall, I would say. But
Hmm.
speaking of changes, I know we got little news today. We're switching it up on the offensive line. Blackstock, who, has had some issues, is getting moved to right tackle. Or no, he's getting moved to left guard. And Harris is getting moved to right tackle. So I didn't expect that. We had a pretty good week on the offensive line, so I didn't think we were going to switch it. But, I kind of like the move. What do you think?
You know, I don't know enough about their blocking schemes to to have a great assessment of like, yeah, like this guy is on the money on his blocking assignments. Because
Well,
even when
I'm not either. I just see that
yeah,
guy got beat like a drum, so maybe we
yeah,
need to switch him up.
yeah, I mean, I will say like for regardless of how rough last year was with our O line, like generally like that's probably like one area where like I still have trust in Sam Pittman of like, okay, he was the offensive line coach for arguably like the best offensive line, like one of the best offensive lines in, college football of the last decade, when he was on the Georgia and, just dominant team a couple years back. So um yeah, I mean I if that's gonna create better protection, then that's great. Like I wonder if part of that, so we're moving uh a
Marion
guard to the
Harris,
tackle
yeah,
spot.
he's going to right tackle from left guard, and then Blackstock's going to move over to left guard from right tackle.
Yeah. So I wonder, like, just from a like vulnerability standpoint, if it's like, okay, maybe if we create a little bit more strength here, that allows Talon Green to have protection like where he needs it more, right? And gives Talon Green kind of like the opportunity to maybe like see the blitzer a little bit better. So it's like not coming from his backside as much, or it's not forcing him to run to the left as much, because he does better when he runs to the right. He feels more comfortable running to the right. That obviously every quarterback does if they're right-handed. Allows him to like maybe have a quicker read
Mhm.
on the RPO. Because there was a few times where the RPO kind of got blown up. And it was where he didn't have the chance to see it. So maybe switching, that like right to left, left to right side might again, it might just be an issue of like, obviously there's still going to potentially be vulnerabilities, but if the quarterback can see exactly where the vulnerability is versus not see it, that might again create just a few more opportunities throughout the game to scramble out of there, make the right read, something like that.
Yeah, and I know Blackstock's a transfer from Michigan State, and I don't know his natural position. He might have played guard there, and we moved him to tackle because that's what we needed this year. We're like, okay, well, it's not working out like we want. Move him back. I don't know for
Mhm.
sure, but maybe it's Harris has faster feet, quicker feet, and maybe they just want because I've seen a couple of times where the defense will do a twist to look, and so our right guard will pick it up, and the guy that twists and comes around, Blackstock just doesn't have the speed to keep up with that guy.
Mhm.
Maybe Harris just has quicker feet, and they're like, okay, we're going to put you out there. You're more athletic. I don't know for sure, but maybe that's their thought process. Maybe getting a guy with a little bit more speed out there, like you said, allow Talon to just go to work more.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
But so we got a bye week this week, and then we move on to LSU. We're still not ranked, which some people are happy with. People don't like that we're ranked because that comes with expectations.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we could be going into LSU. If some teams lose this week, I could see us being ranked. I'm kind of surprised we weren't ranked after Tennessee, to be honest with you.
I yeah, I could see us not being ranked, it's our only good win of the year. We lost both of our other two opportunities against top 25s. They were close, obviously, both one possession games. Um, but yeah, I'm not like furious about it. Obviously, if we
Yeah,
go in and beat LSU and don't get a significant jump, right? Like if we beat LSU then we need to be 19,
Mhm.
like 20 at the worst. Like if they put us at 24 or 23, after beating Tennessee and then a top 15 LSU, then that would be really shady. So yeah, if we beat LSU, I say we jump up to 19 or 20, which would be really cool.
Mhm.
And then and then just hold on for the ride, like I still don't think we have a shot against Texas. But we have a shot against LSU. We have a shot against Ole Miss. We have a shot against Mizzou. Um, if we can snag 2 out of 4 of those, so maybe we get LSU and Mizzou,
Mhm.
or get Ole Miss and Mizzou, or LSU and Ole Miss. We're
Yeah.
coming down the stretch of the end of the season, we're contending for a top 16 spot, and who knows what happens, maybe, yeah, who knows? I don't, yeah, who knows what happens?
Okay.
I'm not
Going
thinking we're
off that, I got a two-part question for you. Number one, heading into the bye week. We're 4-2. What is our ceiling for wins you think we're at now? What is our floor? And then second, everybody knew Sam Pittman's seat was burning hot heading into the season. Some people said if we don't start out decent by this time right now, bye week, he's gonna be gone. We're 4-2, better than what people thought. Do you think his seat is cooled? Do you think what do you think we need to do the rest of the season for it to stay like that, if you think it has?
Yeah, I mean his seat has cooled. That this Tennessee win is going to buy him a lot of good faith.
Yeah,
Um, I would say I would say our floor should be a 6-win season. We like have to beat Mississippi State and we have to beat Louisiana Tech.
I would
Uh,
agree.
if we lose, like how do I say this? If we beat one of the ranked teams that we have coming up,
Mhm.
so we have 4 games coming up against ranked teams. If we win one of those,
Mhm.
but then also lose to Mississippi State, I think he's still okay, right? Because he still gets to 6 wins.
Mhm.
But if we only beat Louisiana Tech and we lose all the rest of our SEC games, I still think he's gone. Um, but he shouldn't, like he very well should get to 6. Like we should be Mississippi State. And even if we somehow lose to Mississippi State, we should be able to snag one of our other like 3 SEC games, right? Against LSU, Ole Miss, or Missouri. Like we should be able to sneak one of those. But if we don't sneak any of those and we drop to Mississippi State, then yeah, it's like, dude, Tennessee was a fluke. Again, I don't think Tennessee was a fluke, right? Like we played really, really well against Oklahoma State. We played solid against A&M. Um, like we are a solid team, right? Like we didn't get just lucky one time. We dropped 80 on Pine Bluff. Like we've
Yeah.
had good games. I
Well,
think
after seeing what A&M did to Missouri, it kind of like makes our loss look like a little bit more legit. Like
right.
we really should have won that A&M game, and they go out and destroy Missouri.
Pummel, they pummel Mizzou. Yeah, and so maybe A&M is a little sneakier, better than we
Yeah.
thought. Um, I think our ceiling, I want to say our ceiling is 9, but I got to be realistic and say 8.
Mhm.
Um,
8 total, like heading into the bowl game, or 8 with the bowl
8
game.
total heading into the bowl game.
Okay, okay.
8 total heading into the bowl game. Like I said, I think I feel good about Mississippi State. I feel good about Louisiana Tech. That gets us to 6. Again, I don't see a world where we steal 3 out of the 4 from the top 20 teams that we play.
I could see us
Um,
beating LSU and Mizzou.
yeah, yeah, I could see that. We have Ole Miss at home, and we always do well against Ole Miss at
Yeah,
home.
I agree. Yeah, we did.
Um, but again, like, how is it going to shake out? Like week after week. Yeah. So I think the best record we end up with is 8-4 heading into a bowl game, and obviously who knows who we get in the bowl game, but I like our chances.
That's what I would go with too. And I think, it really helps that we have a bye week heading into LSU because we can't have that letdown.
Hmm.
Like we get a week
Yeah.
to rest, everybody gets back. And so even if we happen to lose to LSU, it's not a letdown from Tennessee. It's just like, well, maybe the bye week threw them like whatever. It's just maybe we got beat. But I think LSU is a little bit overrated. I'm not trying to make bulletin board material, but I think we can hang with them.
Yeah.
Most people kind of are counting that as a loss, like Tennessee. And I think with the performance we had Saturday, it's kind of giving fans more confidence heading into that game.
Yeah. No, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about LSU. They're going to be coming off a game against Ole Miss. That's going to be a big one for them. A top 10 matchup. Um, they almost lost to South Carolina. It's 36-33. And let me double check. I'm pretty sure that came down to like a last minute.
Yeah, South
Um,
Carolina blew that.
say down to, yeah, literally LSU scored with like 2 minutes left to go up. Their go ahead touchdown. So yeah, if South Carolina is hanging with them down to the last second, um, they lost to USC, who is turning out to not be that great. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could definitely see us getting one. Right now, ESPN has it at 50-50.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
So I feel good heading into that.
yeah. Yeah, I feel good about the LSU game. Talon obviously want his legs to be healthy. Hopefully he's at full speed. Hopefully as well, like Jaquaden Jackson, JJ, JQ, JQJ. Hopefully he's back at full speed. Did you know what the latest is on him? Like, because he ended up not playing the rest of the fourth quarter after he went out with it looked like a wrist thing or a hand thing.
Nothing major that I've seen or no news. So I'm assuming he's good. Talon, same thing. They just said shouldn't be a multiple week injury. With us having a bye week, he should be able to play. He's not
Yeah.
expected to be out for that game. So yeah, I think everybody will be good to go. Maybe we get Patrick Kudus after the break. We haven't seen him. He's on the line too. He was supposed to
Hmm.
be a big part, and he's been out the whole season. So maybe we see him. Who was out? Jalen Braxton. We haven't even got to see yet. Or I
Yeah.
think he played week 1 and 2 maybe, but he's been out
Yeah.
a couple weeks. So
Yeah,
getting
Hogs has been
back
playing
would
with
be
a hurt
huge.
back. Washington was beat up.
Yep.
So, if we can come back out full speed, full roster, could be great.
Yeah, and we'll have 2 weeks to prepare for LSU. I can't think of a better way to get prepared for him.
Exactly.
All right, I think we've wrapped up everything we need to talk about, and that wraps up this edition of the Hogs Media Podcast. Thank you, guys.